Yes, sir. He's from Arkansas, which I love because being from West Virginia, we battle it out every year to see who's in the top 5 of all the worst things. Yeah. And I think we beat you. Obesity, diabetes, all those wonderful things. That's what we battle back and forth on.
Yeah.
And I think we beat you in every category this year. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah, well, there's always Mississippi. So.
That's exactly right. Well, look, I'm so glad you're here today. You've got a huge song out, Pray For Me. You have a few great songs out, but that one rings true for me.
Oh, thank you.
It's just, I can't wait for you guys to hear it, because are any of you still single, still in that world? All right. Yeah, that song, when I was going through this time where I was like, I just had this breakup. Mm-hmm. Life sucked. And I started thinking, you know what? I'm a man of faith. I'm just going to start asking God for the woman I want. And I started out with make her hot. That was first. God understands that, right? And then I got, a little more deeper after that. But as I'm thinking this through, and honestly, this is true, as I was doing this, I got to hear your song.
Awesome. And
it just really speak to me. So just to give everybody a little background on you, because I found it pretty fascinating. You graduate from high school, go to college on a scholarship to play basketball. There's a shocker, right? And so, tell us a little. What did you major in, and at what point in your college journey did you turn to music?
Well, I majored in philosophy and religion, oddly enough. But I started playing music in college because I was playing basketball, and you're on campus the whole winter break. Like, you don't get to go home because it's a winter sport. Like, you're playing games. So one year I got 30 hours off for Christmas. It was awesome. And but anyway, so I was on campus. School's not in session. None of my friends that aren't teammates are there. So my teammates and I are just hanging out playing PlayStation. And I called my mom and I was like, "Hey, Mom, you got me a guitar when I was like 12. Would you bring that up to campus? Maybe I'll try to play it." I never touched it when she got it for me. So she brought it up, and I just sat in front of my computer and learned off of tab websites how to play old country songs, blues songs, bluegrass songs, southern rock songs, those kinds of things. Anything you could play on guitar, really. Mm-hmm. And soon after that, I started listening to some songwriters that I really liked, and I started writing songs just about as soon as I could rub 4 chords together. And so that was always part of it, and I just kept doing it, and here we are.
And at what point, I always wonder this, and you're the first person I've got to ask this to, because I look at guys big guys like you, Trace, Toby Keith, athletes in college. At what point do you realize you have a voice, that like you can sing? At what point did someone say, "Man, you got a great voice"?
It's a good question. I mean, I didn't really grow up singing or anything like that. Like, I was never the singing church guy or I just didn't do it. But I always felt like I could sing a little bit. Some of my family's really musical, so I didn't feel like I was offending them too bad when I would join in. So I kind of felt like I could do it. Yeah. But yeah, I just kind of happened. I don't know. I just kind of could always do it, I guess.
Well, I just want to get to one more thing, and then we'll let you do what you do. But I love the story about you get out of college. Of course, you're still singing. You had to change your name briefly while in college. I love that part. Tell them what that is.
Yes. So I was starting to play out at bars and venues when I was in college, and one of the venues ran a radio ad in town, and it was like, "Hey, yeah, Matt Stell, come see Matt Stell play." And one of the boosters heard the commercial and called my coach and was like, "Hey, did you know that Matt's playing music like the days that he's not playing basketball?" And so I got a nice little "don't do that anymore" speech, but I was already in too deep. I was opening up for some of my heroes at the time, and I just played under a pseudonym, Paul Wayne Walker, until I graduated. And I've been some form of Paul Wayne Walker ever since, I guess.
That's great. And then I just love this part of your story. And that is, here you are singing. You're passionate about that, but then you get accepted to Harvard Medical School. What was that like? Where you're like, oh my goodness, one is guaranteed money, one is guaranteed prestige. The other, you're thinking, I'm going to roll the dice. I mean, how did you come to the conclusion of you were going to go to Nashville?
Well, I was already in Nashville, and I got accepted to a pre-medical program at Harvard, so I was going to have to go there because I needed some additional classes to apply to med school, and but I got accepted to this program at Harvard that was going to get me those credits, and I'd been in Nashville trying to, the thing about music is you never know where you stand. Like there's not there's not like a ladder that there is a ladder that you climb, but you don't know where you're at on the ladder. So I was just like, man, maybe I'll just write songs and be the guy that just plays music on the weekends, and music will always be part of my life. I'll always love it, But maybe it's not meant for me. I wanted to write songs and play my songs that I wrote, and so I applied for that program, got in, and I was about 8 weeks from packing up and moving to the Northeast, and I got an offer for a publishing deal that turned into management, that turned into a record deal, and
all right.
So yeah, it was just kind of.
So let me get this straight. You're a good-looking guy, you're athletic, and you're smart. You're not very likable at this point. No. All right. Well, we love you. We're glad that you're here, and cut loose, man.
Man, appreciate it.